Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Your friend Alvin Hope Johnson with another moment in the life of a dreamer. And here we are on the Dream on Dreamer podcast, and I am so excited. The new set, this is the first time I've seen this, and we did this super special because I've got my special friend, Alisha, Miss Cooper Home Loans in the building. And Alisha, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. And this set is amazing. I mean, if you did all this for me, I can't believe it.
Just for you. Just for you. So, but thank you for coming in. I know that your family was getting together and you made a special trip over here just for me, and we're gonna dazzle the audience today.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Anytime we get together, it's always a great conversation, and we help a lot of people.
I believe that. So I'm looking at you right now, and the first thing I see is your key. Let's talk about the key. You know, this is the Dream on Dreamer podcast, and I know some of your story, but I'd really love for you to inspire the audience. So tell us about that key.
Oh, thanks. And I love to talk about it. So I wear a key, a regular key to many around my neck, and it's my grandmother's house key.
Okay.
And I walk with my ancestors daily.
Okay.
It's a constant reminder that I've been commissioned with the responsibility to help as many people as possible unlock their dreams, opportunities, which are usually in the form of home ownership. So I wear this key, and I believe that key stands for knowledge empowers you. So that's my passion.
Knowledge empowers you. Key.
Yep, key.
Okay. Wow. So it's your grandmother's key. Let's talk about how you got started, where you came from. So grandmother must have been very influential in your life?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
So I'm blessed to have a two-parent home, mom and dad still here, and they actually travel quite often with me. If you've ever been to any of our Get Access tours, they're right there in the audience. And if you let my dad, he'll definitely get on the stage and talk as well. So I come from a very nuclear family, but we've had our ups and downs and our challenges, and my grandmom was that staple, that stability.
Your mom's mom or dad's mom?
My dad's mom.
Okay.
Was that stability that of a woman who really pushed against the odds. So she was a single mom. She had my dad when she was 16. Okay. And she ended up pushing and working a job, graduating and from high school after, taking some time off after having a baby, and then owning real estate. And we're from Flint, Michigan. So, not a area that you hear people getting out of poverty all the time.
Right.
To not just getting out of poverty, but helping other people buy home ownership. She owned property. My great-grandmother as well owned property, adopted children, and they really gave me a heart to help the community. So that was really big in my life.
So almost like an underground railroad.
Definitely.
Okay. So the key, the influence from your grandmother. So let's talk about your childhood. You came from two-parent household, so that means you were a great kid. You went to high school, college, all that great stuff. Didn't get in no trouble, went on and got a big corporate career, right? Is that what that means for you?
Not at all. And I like to tell people I come from a two-parent home because a lot of parents will compensate for their children and think that maybe because they didn't provide them with a two-parent home is why their child may not have made what they believe to be the best decision.
Okay.
But I tell people I came from a two-parent home, and I was bad. I was that kid sleeping in abandoned houses, running away, living in poverty. By choice. And understanding that I had to make choices. It didn't matter what other people had going on. It was my choice. And because I was given the option of having a choice, I think is where this passion of working hard and doing better and making sure other people do better too. So that was one of the things being in this family that I had, that everybody was one that really worked hard, but it didn't always work out. Okay. So I built this, hey, I could do bad all by myself type of mentality. But I always say that they were praying for me.
Yep.
They had to be, because the situations I found myself in, and I can't give anybody the glory other than God to get me through to be where I am today. But to fast forward as a kid, that's how I was. And then I went off to college. I played collegiate golf. So I had a golf scholarship. First year of college, came back pregnant. My son is now 17 years old and ended up being a single mom living in the projects, just trying to figure out how to get one day to the other.
Were you waiting on your housing voucher allocation?
Oh, I was waiting on that voucher, and it didn't come. That voucher never came for me. I ended up getting a job at the bank as a bank teller.
Thank God for that.
And it was tough because they offered me a raise of $1. And that $1 meant I had to give up my services.
Your services at home that help take care of you, like maybe child care or WIC or food stamps?
All of them. The biggest one was my child care. So Randy was about 5 years old, and he would have to let himself in the house. So that latchkey kid, that was my son. He would have to let himself in. He would be home for about 30 minutes, and I would be racing to get home so that I could meet him there. And that was one of the toughest decisions I ever made,
Giving up the help or taking a dollar raise? That decision?
Yeah. Deciding to give up that help, because my parents at this time were living in Atlanta, Georgia. I was living in Delaware. And I didn't know if I took that dollar, was it really going to be that big of a difference? And honestly, up front, it made no financial sense.
Right.
That dollar was not enough to cover my child care.
That dollar cost you about $600. Right.
That dollar was not. But what it did do is, going back to that childhood, I was always that person that wanted to be in control of my decisions.
Okay.
And I was not going to allow the system to say, in order for me to be on this system, I had to make their decision. So I was like, hey, that's not me. I'm going to make the decision of taking a dollar, and I'm going to win with that dollar. And now I went on to finish college and get married later, own real estate, and teach other people that, hey, the dollar didn't make sense on paper.
Right.
But when you learn how the system works, that dollar was the best decision I ever made.
So it was just a matter of choices.
Choices.
Not letting good be robber of the best.
Ooh, I love that.
So let's talk about the dream. So now it's, I see where the influence came from. So Miss Cooper Home Loans, I see that's something that was instilled in you before you even knew that you would be there. So it's a natural that you wear that name now. So what's next? What's the next part of the dream? You talked about the Get Access Tour, where you're giving people access to information that they would not have, right? Mm-hmm. Is that part of the dream? So let's talk about the families that will continue to be helped about.
So with me, the biggest part of my dream is doing the same thing others did for me, and that's building community.
Okay.
Having that lateral grow out instead of up, and having that support of the village, I know is so important, because that village stepped in when I made that decision of taking a dollar raise.
So that group economics works not just with money, but family, friends, influence, and all of that.
All of that. And then you get to choose the people. Again, your choices.
Right.
I got to choose the family, the support system that I needed and that was placed in my life to help me grow and move forward. And that's what I want to be for other people. And that's what I am for other people.
We call it our family of choice.
I love
FOC.
it.
Yeah.
Our family of choice. And that family of choice has helped me. And now I'm that family of choice for many others. Wow. And through our Biz Fund Academy is our biggest thing that we do, where we break those myths. We debunk the myths associated with getting into the lending business. And getting into the lending business, we all may think we have to have thousands of dollars in the bank, but we teach, don't disqualify yourself.
So is that more of teaching people that they have access to that, Or is it more of taking a mind shift that if I can do this with this, that I can further go and do that? Or is it a little bit of both?
I'm going to say it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But it all starts with, and I love what you do, with the dream and the mindset. That's the first part in all of this. You got to believe that you can do it.
That's right.
You have to stop disqualifying yourself based on the obstacles and the struggles that are ahead of you. And also thinking that an obstacle and a struggle means you can't move forward.
A lot of times those might be just tests to see how bad you want it, putting the dream to the test. That's the book I'm reading now by John Maxwell that I said I wish I had brought, because there's so many things in there that have made me even question, is this dream a reality? Can it happen? Is it empowering others? Is it a selfish dream, or is it? And I think I can answer all of those questions. And so with just listening to you, knowing what's behind the dream of the Get Access tour and the play, as we call it on Clubhouse, right? Just getting people to the access. But I looked at somebody asked me the other day, we were on Clubhouse maybe a month ago, and I remember Jonathan asked me about what did I think about the play. And I said, what I thought is that once somebody actually knows how to broker loans for somebody else, it puts you in the mindset that if I can broker this loan for this guy, then why can't I do this for myself? Or why can't I get somebody else to do it for me now that I know what this box looks like? So giving them access to information to where they can be that broker is doing so much more, because if they can get that piece, then they turn into, wow, I could go do this for me and everybody around me. So that's the power.
That's the power of the information. Yeah. But if you're like me, even though I am a risk taker, right, I still need to understand the system. Right. I have to understand the system so I can play the game.
That's right. And learning it and leads you to lending money for others, and now you understand how that box looks on the inside.
Exactly. And that's what I want to teach others. Yeah. Once we learn the system and we learn that group economics, we learn that the dollar is as powerful as we make it, and the relationships that we put together can unlock endless potential.
Yeah.
But it does take documents and templates and emails and connections. And that's what the Biz Fund Academy is there to put all of that together, so they have it in a box, but they can create their own business
from that box. So if you had 1, 2, or 3 things that you want to share with the audience, I know what I want to share with them based on what we've talked about, but what would it be? What do you want somebody to gain from this?
Well, from this, I think no better platform than this for them to understand that you got to have a dream.
Got to have a dream.
It all begins with having a dream and your passion, but taking the dream and then organizing it. But that organization isn't just getting paperwork together.
Right.
That organization is bringing the people together to help you put it together. And I wish I had learned partnership earlier in life, opposed to wanting to be that one person that knew everything. But now I value having a lot of people around me, and we all know a little bit. Then we lean on each other and we support each other. And it creates a perfect community.
I love that. Back to the group economics piece, right? You came in this morning and 5 people with you, because you do this, they do this, they do this, they do this. And collectively, when you walked in, I was on a Zoom call with 4 people. We were figuring out how to get a partnership agreement completed. So I love that. We don't have to be the smartest people in the room. We just need to put ourselves in the company of people that are better than us in those specific areas where we need to help. I love that.
I love it too.
Yep. So what else? What you want to know about me?
I was going to say, can you tell me where your dream started?
Wow. Where it started. I'll tell you, when I was painting houses at 19 and 20, and that was after working for a guy, and I knew that I wanted to make money in more than one place. So at 19 and 20, I was thinking about, can I franchise my paint business? And of course, not being around anybody that ever thought like that, those thoughts never got off the ground. And I never did any looking into that. So I think that's where it started, because I wanted to do more in more places than just by myself. And then I got into the mortgage business after being a contractor and all that stuff for many years. I realized that I can make money in more than one place because I can do loans all over the place. Mm-hmm. So we set up Icon Mortgage, man, back in like 98 or 99 when the computer was really getting big and Icon was the thing on the computer. And I had an opportunity to actually own Laredo National Bank when they had one branch in Laredo, Texas. And my attorney was their attorney, and he said, Alvin, man, you clean up really good. You'd be great for this. And I was afraid of success. I did not know how to take it. I didn't know what was going to happen. It was so far out of my comfort zone that I didn't even call him back about it. And so looking at all of those crazy decisions that I passed on, the dream was still there to do so much more in housing. I started a nonprofit way back when because I knew that I could give back through that and minimize some taxes through the education portion. And so in the mortgage business, I prided myself on educating my clients. So I didn't have to market because they went out and did the marketing because they understood the process that they were walking into. So and it's always been mostly around investors for some reason. So I've always had investors coming to me to do mortgages, but that still left an emptiness because I knew that I needed to be doing more with housing. So then, as we get older and we do more and have more experiences, the dream has continued. And I did a loan for a guy that borrowed $1 million from Evander Holyfield years ago to go build a neighborhood of homes. And what this guy did was he set up his manufacturing plant to build the walls in the plant and then take and go build the houses. One reason or another, he never built a house, but he planted a seed in me that I could have a systematic way to build houses in a plant and then give other people a job or a career that did not have that skill set, because you don't have to need to know how to be a carpenter to do this.
Right.
Well, this was in 96. So we're still talking almost 30 years ago, 20 something years ago. I can't do math today, but yeah, 26 years ago.
You don't want to tell your age.
No, I don't. But then, so I saw that, and so that seed was planted, knowing that I could build a lot more quickly. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, we got into a place after buying these apartments and renovating them that we wanted to do more. And I could not find a way to buy something that made sense to me with the current capital stack that we had. Partners that we had, they had been used to a certain yield. So we had to produce that, and there was no door for that, for me to walk through. So I took all of the collective experiences of being in the mortgage business, of being a contractor, and said, we can go build our own. And I can produce greater yields than what our investors are used to, and I can empower other people to come and be a part of it. So now the dream of the last 4 years has taken off. And then a year and a half ago, we get on Clubhouse, a freaking app that allowed us to be able to talk, which built my confidence level to the place to where I can be that guy that can raise the money. I've got the experiences. We've got the track record. And I don't know if it wouldn't have been for Clubhouse where we would be today as a company, where this dream would be today. Literally, just I could
your dream
all
has
of
so
that.
many pieces
Oh,
in
so
it.
many pieces.
I hear you speak of, the first part that stands out to me is when you said that the manufacturer, you saw him building those walls and you learned you didn't have to be a carpenter, right? Yeah. And that's a passion of mine, right? Those myths that we think that there's rules and laws and licenses that say we can't do something.
Right.
And then to learn that those rules and laws are honestly the barriers we set for ourselves because we don't look into it.
Right.
And that's how we birthed Biz Fund Academy, the play, right? From that place. And then to hear you move on and you're like, he didn't even end up doing that for me. But then the next piece of it is when you brought these people together. Mm-hmm. You know, you were like, I have all of these skills and these trades, but I can use them to empower other people.
And I tell you, when that dream is real and it's supposed to be, when you're doing your part, those people that I brought together, they gravitated to me. Because when you get to going as fast as you can, as quick, the draft pulls trash behind you, it pulls dust behind you, but it'll also pull the people behind you need. So think about a race car going around a track, and you could just see the wind chasing that car. Those people become that wind so that they can get behind you, and when that car slows down, they can push you. They can, they can empower you. And collectively, all of these people that have come with me have been doing the same thing for 15, 20 years, looking for a place to plug in. Everybody's looking for a place to be a part of something greater than themselves. And when you do yours...
I was going to say, it's only happened, though, because you did your part so they could plug in.
And we all have the choice to become that piece, right?
Exactly.
That's what you've done with the play. You've decided to put together something that is greater than you, to empower other people, and it has attracted the people to you that you've needed. Your partner, Jonathan, y'all was partners way before the play.
Way before the play at Clubhouse.
But the thought process came together when the opportunity met the preparation. That's when success is birthed.
Yeah, and it looks like luck. I love that. I love that. When opportunity meets preparation, it looks like luck. Yeah. And a lot of people think I'm lucky. Well, a lot of people think you're lucky. Yeah. But it was a lot of work put in along the...
Luck looks like gray hair. It does.
But you've heard someone say that. You've heard someone say, Alvin, you're lucky.
I'm a 38-year overnight success.
And I'm like, you're definitely blessed. Yeah. And to see you, your health being your wealth. Yeah. I speak a lot about my grandmother, but my grandfather, his prayer for me every morning is that I remain healthy, wealthy, and wise. Bam, bam, bam. Right. That's his thing. He just loves to do that.
That's him. Well, you're going to have to show him this podcast. Man, I am so happy that you came to do this. What else? What else we want to talk about? What's on the agenda?
I was going to say, what do you have coming up? For us, our next Biz Fund Academy class is running May 24th through the 27th. Okay. I have a couple of speaking engagements coming up with the National Metropolitan League, April 30th through May 1st in Philadelphia.
That's this weekend.
Yeah.
Or next weekend or whenever.
And then we have our marriage retreat coming up June 3rd through the 5th, Marriage Millions.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yes, in Punta Cana. So that's what we have covered up. But we've been really teaching about pivoting in this market with, interest rates skyrocketed really quickly. Mm-hmm. I mean, unbelievable. The Fed said they were going to raise rates. We're coming out of COVID. And then we see these interest rates 6%. We see the down payment assistance programs pulling out. But yet, textbook, we can't say we're in a recession until we have 2 consecutive GDP quarters. And the last recession was really tough on me. Okay. Personally, I lost a lot, but the hardest part was I almost lost my marriage. Well, I'll say I lost my marriage. I didn't lose my husband, but I lost my marriage in that time because it was financially tough and we were fighting separately to get through this obstacle. And I had decided that I wanted to take the Dave Ramsey method
of being debt-free.
And being debt-free and living in these white envelopes. And my husband was like, well, you can live in those white envelopes by yourself.
Because he put the hammer down.
And I'm happy that, again, back to my grandparents being a huge influence in my life. My grandmother was from the point of, y'all can fall out of love, just both of y'all can't fall out of love at the same time. So I have this thing, if I feel like he's being distant, then I pick up. And we ended up being able to get back together and figure some things out. But the part that we don't...
I'm sure glad you stopped right there because this was going to turn into a marriage counselor.
No. I promise it's not. I'm going to go right back into the recession. Okay. I am right into that. What got us through was the education as well on the recession. and knowing the places to pivot. So he was one that was willing to take the mindset of abundance through the recession. But I learned to take the mindset of opportunity during the recession. And the two of them together allowed us to pivot and to be able to build a business even stronger.
Right.
But know these indicators. And that's the piece I want to speak to, is knowing the indicators. And when you have the right leadership, like someone like you who's been through it before, that is why you're going to lead the ship so much further and stronger when they're comparing, do I work with you or do I invest with Uncle Alvin over someone else? Because your experiences of life, now you don't have to read the textbook and wait 6 months
to figure it out.
Yeah. And that's why I really appreciate talking with you, because your life experiences aren't the textbook.
No, they're not.
And I don't think individuals understand the value of that until it's too late.
So that's true. The pivot I'm glad you said that, because there's so many people now that want to get into real estate because the last 15 years have been amazing. And now we're coming into the recession, whatever.
Yeah.
And things,
a downturn in the market.
There you go. That's a better way to say it. And things will definitely change, but it's a little different today because there appears to be still a bigger, higher demand than what we saw in the last one. So I'm glad you're just giving information that will allow people to make different kinds of choices as they start navigating in this real estate space. So that nobody
never stop buying real estate.
Never that. You
never.
Just need to know how to
you buy real estate and wait. You don't wait and buy real estate.
That's right. That's right.
And you have to understand that wisdom is more valuable in this market than the balance sheet.
It is, because that affects the balance sheet, either up or down, right?
But looking at someone's 15-year great balance sheet, and now we enter into a downturn, I can't compare
what you did 5 years ago to today. That's right. That's right. What else? This is good. This is good.
I mean, that's what we got going on. What you got going on?
Well, we are embarking on our closing of our construction loan in Princeton, Texas.
Congratulations.
So we bought the land, and then we funded a lot of the improvements up till today out of pocket, doing that to reduce interest, allowing our investors to get a higher return because we didn't have to borrow as much money on the front end. And now we're about to close a construction loan, and then this is the largest structurally insulated panel community in America.
Wow.
That we're doing until we do the next one. But I think the largest one is like 56 units. So we are doing something that's never been done before. That's super, super exciting for me. The next thing that we're doing is this year we've got 400 units, 250, 320, another 100, and a potential another 600 units that we could all start this year. That's more than 3 years worth of work. All of that came together overnight, right? But in order to do that, we're starting our own manufacturing plant now. So we've got a 90,000 square foot warehouse that we're leasing out that we will build our own wall frames in. Along with that, we have 3 master trades of electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. The master guys are going to hang their license with our construction company so that they can do all of our work. So we'll be our own, talk about totally vertically integrating our company. So we'll be able to have our own MEP contractors working on our projects. But more importantly, because we're manufacturing our own frames, we will bring in a trade school with those trades, and we'll be able to get apprentices all the way up through journeyman, licensed electricians, plumbers, anything in the building trade through our trade school, building our own apartments. So now we've got the design piece, the acquisition piece, the civil engineers, all of these guys are on our team so that we can design neighborhoods and apartments. We can build our own walls and build our own communities. And the next thing we need is just our own money. So we're doing all of this we're posturing to be able to attract large, like $200 to $500 million investments, because we've got our own plant. And all of our communities are 50 million and up. And so equity partners that want to invest 10 million or 50 million into these projects, we have positioned ourselves to be the only company doing these kind of developments that are eco-friendly, great for the planet, high performance. We're the only one on the planet doing it.
So explain that process, how someone invests with you, right? You said how do you, I guess, vet, or what is the process of being an equity partner or participating and investing with you?
Really, it's just a level of interest. Somebody's showing interest. So we don't do bulk funds. We syndicate each deal individually and separately. That's where my level of experience lies today. I'm sure that we will attract someone else that can help us do a big fund later. Mm-hmm. But when their level of interest is there, we have prospectus and private placement memorandums on every opportunity and prepared by our SEC qualified attorneys. And we send that out and we build relationships with our potential partners. Just like you and I sitting here, we'd be talking about a deal and just making sure that we connect with each other. Because for me, our money is not good money. You might want to write a $10 million check today, but if I don't think that our synergy is great, I'm not going to take the money because I'm going to have to babysit.
Exactly.
And so
So
we
do
want to be
you
that
only
guy that,
use accredited investors, or do you have funds for different types of investors?
Not yet. So right now, because these raises are so big, we're doing them for accredited investors. The minimum investment is $50,000. We like $100,000 investments for round numbers. Mm-hmm. I did not want to have to get 35 unaccredited investors mixed in, and try to fund one of these larger deals. Mm-hmm. So again, as we get bigger and better, I will attract somebody else that's better at fundraising. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm sitting in that seat, and we're just doing it by grassroots, bootstrap, and by educating the public. I believe people have gravitated to me because of the transparency, mm-hmm. and then we'll get to a place where we've got 5 developments built, and they'll be coming to us because of the experience. So we're just walking that way.
So, it sounds, again, the experiences that you've been through, you learned that when you were in the mortgage business, right?
Right.
And you didn't have to market because you were educating your clients on the process.
Right.
And now you're educating investors on how they can make a wiser decision.
Correct.
Than having to go out there and sling that hammer, right, and do that fix and flip, that they can come and invest in these beautiful projects that you said good for the economy, good for the earth, the ecosystem, and then they get the opportunity through the transparency to learn.
Right. That's it.
This is an amazing opportunity, I think, for any investor that's out there that is trying to figure out, where do I get started, right? And they may have gone to other funds, but they don't understand that process. And to have you willing to show them and be part of such a massive project and the future of growing with you, sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Boy, it sounds like you're going to write a check today. That's what it sounds like. But I understood that the only way I'm going to make my dreams come true is by helping somebody else make theirs come true. So if I can educate somebody that has a money problem on what to do with their money in a safe investment, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that we accomplish a lot of things that way. And it's just exciting. It's fun. I've never had so much fun doing this, and I'm scared to death. We're doing it scared because I've never done it before. I've got wise counsel around me, but still, right? It's just I'm on a high wire, and
with
I'll
risk,
send somebody else walk it, but I ain't never been up here, so it's all good.
With risk, there is fear.
Yeah.
But we can't allow that fear to be the absolute.
That's right.
In the process. And the more knowledge that you get, that's why I believe this key is so valuable. That knowledge empowers you to keep moving forward. Because as you get the more education and the knowledge and your wisdom, you're like, I'm on the right path. I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
And that's what I teach.
Well, I'm going to have to tell Darrell that key, He gonna have to ice that key out. He need to put about 4, 5 carats, 10 carats on that key.
He has tried, but this is my grandmom's house key. I could still go.
You can put the
take
copy on there too.
And turn the lock. And like I said, I'm walking with my ancestors, and my goal is to make them proud.
Well, I'm sure you've done that already. I'm super proud to just call you my friend, so okay. I know that they're super proud.
Thank you.
Well, man, how do the people contact you? How do they connect with you?
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. Well,
look into the camera and tell them.
Everyone, my name's Alisha Cooper. I'm known as Miss Cooper Home Loans. That's the best way to reach me on my social media handles, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. But I love to debunk the myths associated with getting into the lending business, and we do this through Biz Fund Academy. If you go to www.jointheplay.com, you'll be able to see that we provide a course. So millions of dollars and billions of dollars are being made in an industry that many aren't talking about. It is not an easy industry, but it is a simple industry. And it'll help you unlock the wealth tools that you need, not just for your clients, but for yourself to continue to grow and take that information and use it in other areas within your life. If that's something that you're interested in, I definitely need you to hit me on Instagram, Facebook, or check us out on Clubhouse, where you can see me and Uncle Alvin in rooms together. Thank you. Wow,
man, that's why you've got those speaking engagements. That's why. Well, I appreciate you, Alisha, for hanging out with us. Y'all know multifamilymonopoly.com. That's the website. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of the Dream on Dreamer podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alisha, for coming.